Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Before we start today's show, I want to say that you can buy some Riding Shotgun and some Gungram patches and stickers and patches. So confused. You can buy these at the Riding Shotgun with Charlie website. You can also get t-shirts, mugs, and whiskey and coffee. Sorry, t-shirts, hoodies, and whiskey and coffee mugs at the Teespring store, which is teespring.com/stores/Riding Shotgun with Charlie. And I also want to thank the Kids S.A.F.E Foundation for sponsoring the show for today. Derek's been taking me around the Pacific Northwest and letting us use his vehicle, and he hangs out while I get to use his truck, which he's a great guy. So you need to check out the Kids S.A.F E Foundation. He's got a long phrase. It's 0 firearm accidents are the only acceptable number. I'm going to screw that up, so I might cut that out. But you should check out the Kids S.A.F E Foundation. All right, so today we are in Tacoma, Washington. We are at the Aero Precision. Is it the Aero Precision headquarters, facility, factory?
Yeah, well, we got the headquarters and the factory, but I would say just headquarters is probably most accurate.
All right, very cool. And we are with Brian Deal. He's the head of marketing, the marketing guru.
Yeah.
The marketing guru. I need to learn the marketing guru from Brian. Brian, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Charlie.
Let's drive around. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about Aero Precision. And the show's going to be over before we know it. All right, let's talk about you. How did you get into shoot? I trust you're obviously a pro gun guy working for a pro gun company.
I absolutely am, yep.
Awesome. How did you get into gun stuff?
Well, I grew up hunting Eastern Washington, not really into the AR space like where I work now, but just grew up around guns, grew up deer hunting, pheasant hunting, elk hunting, in the wheatlands and mountains of Eastern Washington.
That's cool.
Little town of Pomeroy, Washington. It's only about 2,000 people, so typical farm life. And really just enjoyed the outdoor living and outdoor space and hunting in general. Really got me introduced to firearms at a young age. Moved over here to Western Washington, bigger city, bigger life. Had an opportunity to get into the firearms industry here at Aero Precision about 7 years ago, and jumped at the chance, and I'm lucky enough to have gotten the job and been along for the ride ever since.
Cool. Did you go to school for marketing?
I did. Yep.
You did.
Marketing and graphic design. So
marketing and graphic design.
They kind of go hand in hand a little bit. Make pretty things and then make people see it. So
make people see it and then make them buy it.
Yeah.
Do the Jedi mind trick with the. I don't get how marketing works. I see people looking for marketing positions and they're like, well, I don't get it, man. I know there's stuff involved in it and it's over my head.
Yeah, it's a lot of just put yourself in the customer's shoes, and generally you'll make a lot of the right decisions. What do people like? What do people want? What makes them happy? What gets them excited? And, if you can follow what the customer is looking for, a lot of times you can do it right. Gotcha.
I figured out that nothing makes me happy, so I don't think I'd be good at marketing.
Well, you wouldn't be easy to market to. Maybe that's what it is.
I honestly think that's what it is, because I don't. I haven't had cable for 10 years, and when commercials come on, I always look at things and say, that's something I can't afford. That's something I don't need. So I don't know why I need to.
Yeah, you're good at talking yourself out of spending money, it sounds like. That's not a bad thing.
One of my going lines is I don't go to gun shows, and it's the same reason that I don't go to strip joints. It's because there's lots of things I want to put my hands on and nothing I'm going home with.
Yeah.
So, why bother?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, so you grew up hunting and shooting, went to school for marketing. Hunting elk, that sounds totally cool.
Oh, it's a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the regulations here in Washington where I hunt aren't the easiest to be able to make sure you actually can get an elk, but the fire's warm and the beer's cold, so that's a big piece of the factor as well. So
that's why they call it hunting and not shooting.
Yeah. Definitely.
That's pretty cool. What do you have to do to hunt elk?
You walk around a lot. You spend a lot of time and energy going up and down canyons where there's nothing but a creek at the bottom and a lot of trees on the hillside. But every now and then you get lucky. A lot of scouting goes into it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a blast when you can actually be able to fill your
Harvest
tag.
an animal, sure.
I do it a lot with my dad, so it's a big family bonding thing for me that I can still hunt with him, which I love. So
that's awesome. Elk, you have to do rifle.
Oh yeah.
Very
you got to
cool.
use a decent sized rifle.
Yeah.
I hunt with a 30-06. I actually got an elk a few years ago with an Aero Precision 308 rifle. So larger caliber, but a good shot will take large animal down as well. So
how far can you shoot an elk from?
That really matters on the capabilities of your rifle. So you could shoot. It matters what you're comfortable with your rifle and your skill set. So some people take a shot up to 600-700 yards. Me personally, I usually won't shoot at anything under 500 yards, just because I feel like if it's that far away, I could probably put a hunt on it and get a better shot. Obviously, it's an animal, so it's moving. That can be a challenge. You're not shooting a still target most of the time. So
how long does it take
really depends.
How long does it take you to hunt 500 yards to find an elk?
Well, you try to get a couple hundred yards closer, not all 500 yards. They get spooked if you get too close, So
this is what I've never I hate saying this, and I've said it before on the show. Hunting for me is taking my bow for a romantic walk in the woods.
Yeah, well, that's all right sometimes too. Peace and quiet's not a bad thing.
Well, that's why I started hunting.
Yep.
So I'm like, let's say the wife and the kids don't want to do this. I think I'd like to get out of the house and get some quiet time. And I end up reading a book and dropping my book from a tree stand and wondering what the hell I'm doing. So I do buy meat from the grocery store. Is really what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's that's one thing that's real nice about hunting, is being able to fill your freezer and knowing where the meat came from, knowing that it's good meat and
it's all organic.
Yeah, hey.
It's organic, baby. This is what people want. The anti-gun folks want us to have organic food. So organic, when you harvest it from the deer, or harvest it from the woods, you know where the deer or the elk comes from. That's good stuff. Yeah, forget them. All right, so you were doing some hunting, got into gun stuff, got the job with Aero Precision.
Yep.
Tell me about Aero Precision. Do you guys have parts in? I checked the website.
Well, there's maybe a few up there. We actually just added an in-stock filter to the website. So if you just click that button and the magic happens, and all you see is available stuff.
Well, that's cool.
Unfortunately, on some pages, if you click it, all the stuff just disappears because it's not there. But yes, I started at Aero Precision 7 years or so ago. Aero Precision's 25 years old, but given the name, you probably can assume that we actually started in the aerospace industry and made airplane parts for a long time. Here in the Western Washington area that we're in, obviously aerospace is a big deal here. Boeing's here, and we've done some work on some pretty big projects in the past. Did that for a long time, but got a chance to take on some firearms projects a long time ago, and made a transition over the years to firearms only.
That's pretty cool.
For the last dozen plus years, we've been solely firearms. First as an OEM manufacturer, and then really almost 10 years ago now came out with our actual brand, started selling products under the Aero Precision name. It's been a wild ride since then, but here we are. So.
That's pretty cool. Do you guys sell whole rifles? Do you piece everything together?
So our place and what we try and do for the industry is support the parts and components market for the at-home AR builder. That's where we're at right now. Most of our parts, you can buy complete upper halves and complete lower halves, but we generally don't make complete rifles and have them available because our bread and butter is upper and lower receivers. So we want to make sure those are supplied well to the industry, and that to be able to support that, we sell most of our parts as components that go to direct to consumer, to a gun shop to sit on the shelf. We do work with online retailers. We work with Cabela's, Bass Pro, larger resellers as well. So we're kind of all over the place.
This, I'm trying to learn about the difference between the FFLs. To make gun parts, do you have to have an FFL?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
There's different levels of FFLs. There's, having just an FFL means you can have firearms, but you have to have a different level to be able to actually manufacture.
Right.
So.
I know you need one to manufacture it, but I wasn't sure if it was just to manufacture parts. Can we go straight or turn left?
You can go straight. Yeah. Okay. This will kind of circle around out here in the industrial area. So.
All right. I wasn't sure if you needed one for Wait, are you sure we can get through? It says dead end, no through traffic.
Oh, no, maybe not.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Just this guy and turn left. We'll be all right.
Now we'll cut them off. We get the Oregon plates.
They're Derek's, right?
They're Derek's. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no cars behind us.
Yeah.
And
he's wondering if you.
Yeah, he's wanting to let us go and wondering what the hell's wrong with us.
Oh, we're lost. Sorry.
Right. Again,
we're multitasking.
He's looking at the Oregon plates. Where's that guy going? Yeah, I don't know, man. All right, well, we'll get in front of this guy. Yeah, so there's different FFLs, different parts, making different parts. Obviously, you gotta have the FFL for that.
Yeah. So for what we do in the AR space, your lower receiver is your only serialized component.
Right.
If you're buying a barrel or an upper or a parts kit or something like that, which you need for your rifle, that's not actually an FFL item, so that can get shipped straight to your house. You can buy that on our website or from many other places. You can walk into a gun store and just take it home with you. But the lower receiver, the serialized component of an AR and of most rifles, is an FFL item.
Right. It's the control item. Gotcha. I think that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, if you're just making handrails, you don't have to.
Yep. Yeah, we ship a lot of stuff straight to people's house. But again, the control and the in place is to make sure you have to go to an FFL to get your lower receiver. You have to go through your background check there, fill out your paperwork, and all that from there. So.
Wait a second. You have to go through a background check?
Yeah, believe it or not, they do exist. So, and pretty much everybody that buys a gun currently goes through a background check. Actually, here in Washington, we already have laws in place that say you can't do direct transfers for people. So, we're already there.
Yeah, I live in Massachusetts, and we have all of the gun control stuff that people are talking about. We have. You can't sell a gun to someone that doesn't have a gun license. You can't buy a gun from someone that doesn't have a license. You have to go through background checks, obviously, from dealers.
Yep.
And we don't have, this is so screwy, and I call it welcome to the Commonwealth. We don't have gun registration. We have transfer registration. So let's say you broke a mirror and had to move to Massachusetts. 7 years of bad luck. You can bring your Washington State guns, and you just have to have a permit to have them. But if you transfer one to me, then you start a paper trail for that gun.
Gotcha.
So it's a bit ridiculous that way.
Yeah, I mean, we actually stopped sending parts to Massachusetts altogether a few years ago when your Attorney General decided to make some ruling on turning rules that were already in place into different interpretations of that same rule.
Yes.
And it put all of us firearms manufacturers in a weird position.
I call her the AGAG, the Anti-Gun Attorney General. Yeah, she's ridiculous.
Did you come up with that on your own?
I did.
Nice.
I don't have a lot of friends. I have a lot of time on my hands.
Well, I like it. That helps.
Yeah, so you can't ship to some states.
For sure. I mean, so our website has some specific restrictions on it that make it so you can't even check out if there's certain items that you may be trying to purchase that you can't have in your area. It's a lot to support from, we have to support local rules and regulations from here in Washington. California is obviously a challenge.
Obviously a bad place. New Jersey,
a lot of places in the Northeast are. Colorado's got, magazine restrictions, etc. So we have to follow all those, and it's our responsibility to do so and make sure that we're not getting ourselves in hot water with selling and shipping parts to people that can't have them in their local area.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Generally speaking, though, we're not lawyers, so we tell people you need to know your own rules and regulations locally, and buy accordingly. So
that is nuts.
And they're all changing, all the time.
They are. So I was going to say, have you seen an uptick with everyone being concerned about ghost guns and all of this sort of nonsense? Do you guys see an uptick in business because more people are making and buying their own guns?
Well, it's hard to measure right now because this whole last year has been one crazy, prolonged uptick. It's going all the way back to, COVID starting and everyone kind of freaking out about that. Anytime there's just a disturbance in day-to-day, just normal life, it affects gun sales, whether it be politically driven or obviously a sick COVID kind of curbed or made something happen.
Right.
The protests and everything that were happening within the last year, we saw a definite spike from that as well. And then obviously the change in
regime.
Yeah, at the top that is affecting the business as we speak. So this whole year, you speak of out of stock. We were prepared for the presidential election, but everything kicked off in March due to COVID, as opposed to us thinking it was going to be October or so when things would really start to take off. So the whole industry's been just grinding to try and keep up and meet demand, and
it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of parts going out into the industry right now, but it just looks like everything's never available. It's just selling out right when it goes up. So
it is, and this has a lot to do with I hate to say hoarding, but people buying. I don't want to say more than they need, but people buying up everything, because if you know that, if you usually go buy 1 or 2 boxes of ammo and you know that it's hard to find, if they've got 4 or 5 boxes, you're going to buy them all, and that's going to leave the next person in a bad spot.
Yeah, I always laugh because everyone always says, hey, I want to buy before the panic gets here. And a whole bunch of horde of people are saying, I want to buy before the panic gets here. Well,
right.
You are starting the panic. You're actually starting it before when you think it's going to start. And
yes.
That's how we get to where we're at right now. Instead of people just buying what they need, obviously people are doing what you say. But on top of that, there's a good thing happening at the same time. There's a massive amount of new gun owners who have, over the last year, understood why you might want to own a gun. Through the defunding of the police and the riots and people not being able to be helped in situations, or being uncomfortable even going out and doing their daily life. So that's resulted in millions of new gun owners. I think the numbers I see are usually like 2 to 3 million new gun owners that have never owned a gun before bought a gun in 2020.
2020. I think that was low. I thought that was like 8 to 10.
It could be. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
But regardless, it's a huge opportunity for us to bring all these people into the understanding of what it is to be a firearms owner and why it's important, and why it's important to keep those rights intact. And we have to leverage that as an industry, using those people to keep driving the understanding across all different spectrums of individuals on why firearm ownership is so important. So
yeah, it's interesting that so many people have had the light go on in the last year. And I'm one of these guys. I'm not sure if all of these people are going to be. I don't even want them to be gun advocates, because for me it's taken a long time to get to the point where I said, hey, this is important. Yep. At first it was like, well, I'd like to get a gun, but I don't want to be a crazy person. And then it's I'd like to go shooting and maybe carry a gun. Okay, I'd like to go shooting and carry a gun, but I don't want to seem like a lunatic. And it just kind of goes from there.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you just want them in those casual conversations to fall on the right side of the fence and understanding why it's important.
Yes.
Right? That's hugely important here in Washington.
Yeah.
We've constantly seen when legislation goes up and people just don't know better, the way it's written can sway them to vote on something they have no idea what they're even voting on.
I want to say, I saw some people put some stuff that, like, is the governor here, Inslee? Slid something in kind of slyly.
Yeah, they work the description of what is on the ballot to where it says something general like firearm safety, and then everyone doesn't know any better says, well, I'm for firearm safety, of course I'm going to vote for this. But truly they're sliding things in, such as making it so I can't go shoot with you and let you touch my firearm because you need to go through a background. Yeah, so what's being said at face value is not what's actually in the law. And if you truly don't know or don't care or aren't passionate about it, let's be realistic. How many people are going to go and read the full law of something they don't know?
Almost none.
Almost none. Not enough, clearly. So,
right.
And Washington's suffered from that over the past few years. There's a couple of things that have slid through legislation where people now, actually, if you talk to local gun stores, they'll say people are coming in and trying to buy AR-15, which you have to go through a 10-day waiting period here in Washington due to it being voted in. It's treated the same as a handgun. People are saying, what do you mean I can't walk out? I was told by the news I can buy a AR-15 and walk out the door today, in 5 minutes.
Right.
No, you voted for 1639 and you put this in place. So
right.
Here we are.
The line I like to use is when a former president comes out and says it's easier to get a gun than it is to get a library card, is not true.
Yeah,
that's not. All right, we're gonna take a left up here. I don't know where we're at. I trust you.
You're good. You're kind of just circling around here. So, you can go left. That's all right. Go left.
All right. So tell me more about Aero Precision. You guys make parts, all sorts of parts for Airs. Is it just Airs exclusively? I got to tell you, all of the cool rifles that I've seen with the skeletonized grips and stuff. I don't see any of that stuff in Massachusetts.
No.
Not that you guys are making those, or you see these cool, colorful rifles and all sorts of cool stuff, and they're things I'd like to put my hands on that I'm not going to be able to take home with me.
Yeah, I mean, our whole business model is to make we make a affordable part, and we make it well so that you get great quality for, you know, a great bang for your buck. We always laugh, right? Gun jokes. But
this is why you get the marketing people.
Yeah, right. you get a great value for what we make. So we make a lot of upper and lower receivers, and we do some tweaks and some nice little things that make it nicer and better than your standard run-of-the-mill AR-15 lower receiver. We do it elegantly, and we do it cost effectively, so we can pass those good things on to the end user.
Yeah.
But we make a lot of parts. We buy other parts and components that support it, such as, you know, you need parts kits and whatnot to be able to assemble your rifle. We don't make every single little piece in that. We make the ones that make sense to our business. And then we have a barrel manufacturing facility down in Florida, so all the barrels we use are made at Ballistic Advantage, but it's a sister company of ours. And then you can, you know, shop on our website for everything you need to build a rifle. But most of our customers are your at-home builder. They're the person who's got a workbench in their garage and is going to make their first AR-15. They're going to trust our parts and components to make it an easy process for them. We're going to try and support them from the service side and knowledge side, and giving them what they need to be able to build that. And
take a left up here.
You can go straight, actually. Yep.
Okay.
And that's the space we fill in the industry. So
that's cool.
Most of that is, though, yes, it's AR parts and components. Looking to potentially branch out a little bit of that area, but historically we've, you know, that's the segment that we've been in. So
to focus on. That's cool.
Yeah. So Aero Precision, you know, in the last, I mentioned that we were in the aerospace industry, got into firearms industry, you know, 7 years or so ago when I started. I think we had around 70 employees then. And we sit here 7 years later, we have about 800 employees.
Oh my gosh.
You know, we're the, I think, third largest employer in the Tacoma, Washington area, so big city.
That's pretty cool.
And support a lot of great, you know, American jobs here in Tacoma, well-paying jobs. So
yeah. Now, before we started, I heard you talk with someone about, you know, people say, well, it's an anti-gun state, just get up and move, and it's hard to do that. You know?
Yeah, it is.
Because you'd be taking jobs away from the community, and you've got to build a facility somewhere else, and it's not like you could just pick up and move.
No, it's, well, the people is definitely challenging. Can't just.
How do we not get on the highway?
Well, you got to keep going here, but you'll be okay. We can jump off pretty easy.
All right.
So,
I'm trusting you, man.
Yep. So we'll end up going north here, but then you'll just want to slide over to the right once we get going on the freeway, and there'll be an exit ramp we can take. So it shouldn't be too big of an issue here.
You know, the last time I was in Seattle, I had this great co-pilot that was saying, "Oh, let's go here. We're going to go here." And then I started driving, and I'm like, "Is this going to help me out?" Right.
Well, if you hit water or mountains, you went too far. So if you can avoid that, you'll be all right.
There we go.
Yeah. Also, I mentioned the company was quite a bit smaller, and we've gone through a huge growth cycle over the past several years, especially this year. You know, we expanded our manufacturing capacity about over 30% this year alone. So that is a huge lift in 1 year compared to the size we already were, and to grow that much, and all that is, you know, taking the revenue that we make and reinvesting in our company to be able to be bigger and better and to do things better for our customers and to be able to provide them what they want.
That's cool.
So it's been a long year, been a lot of work trying to make as many parts as we can, and we still haven't been able to find the ceiling to meet the demand, even though we've put a lot of effort in. So
that's good. I say it's blessed with work.
Yeah,
blessed with work. All right, you guys have a new firearm out. It's the EPC.
So the EPC stands for Enhanced Pistol Caliber. So two platforms that we've had for a while are the standard AR-15 platform, which does your 5.56 caliber, 300 blackout, 223, and then we have our M5, which is on the AR-10 platform, and that is going to be your 308 or your 6.5 Creedmoor, your larger caliber. And then something that's been very popular, you know, in the past several years is the pistol caliber carbines, the PCCs.
Right.
And the EPC is our entry into that space. So it gets you into having a part that you can build into 9mm, and then you can build it into 40 caliber, or you can build it into 10mm or 45, are the different pistol calibers that it'll support.
That's cool.
And it's kind of mimicking the same idea of we're building a structure where, you know, you can buy an upper and a lower from us, and you can build it the way you want it. That's part of what people really enjoy with the ARs. You can keep going straight here. We'll take the other exit.
All right.
Part of something that people really enjoy with ARs is you can build it the way you want it. If I give you a rifle and say, this is what we have, this is how you have to buy it, You may buy it, but if you can put the right length handguard you want on there, you can put the right attachment type on the handguard, you can use the lower you want with the upper you want, or maybe you want to use another manufacturer, you have that ability. And we're entering that same space on the PCC market.
Cool.
We're going to take out this exit here.
All right.
And it'll actually circle us back around here.
What kind of magazines do they take?
So they take Glock magazines. Right now we have the EPC 9 available.
Stay straight. Take left.
We'll go left.
Okay.
And then you'll left again, and you can just follow that road up after this. The road over here that goes in front of our building. Once you take a left and then take another one, so we can just follow that straight as long as you want, and then just turn around and go back.
Cool.
So the EPC 9 is what's available now. It's our first product line we were able to introduce, and it'll support a 9mm or 40 caliber. Glock mags is what it supports, and you can buy the lower and an upper, and then from there, those are what the parts that include proprietary components. From there, you can use standard AR-15 parts and components for pretty much anything you need. So your grip or your handguard, or obviously you need a barrel that's the right caliber, but you can build with our parts and components or other manufacturers' parts and components from there. There'll be a larger frame. It's not actually bigger in size, but it's meant for the bigger calibers. That'll be available before too long. That'll be the EPC 10, and then that'll work for 10mm or Smith & Wesson 45 Smith & Wesson. So
very cool.
Yeah. A lot of people are using, PCCs for competition shooting is what it's become popular for. Some people use it for home defense, or for maybe hog hunting, or there's multiple different applications. So.
Wait, hog hunting with a pistol caliber?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of crazy. In Massachusetts, you can hunt bear with a handgun that's a 357 or larger, or a 40 Smith & Wesson or larger.
Yeah.
And my issue with hunting bear is I've seen the videos where bears climb trees.
Yeah, they're kind of crazy.
You can see where I'm going with this. If I'm in a tree and a bear climbs up the tree, I have no escape.
Yeah. Can you, if you're bow hunting, do you know? Can you carry a handgun where you guys are at for bow hunting?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say no. I know that if you're I know during deer season, during archery season for deer, you cannot take a handgun with you left ear. But that may not have stopped me.
Yeah. Well, I would want to. I mean, if I was especially predator hunting. So around here we've got all the predators. We've got cougars and bears and
Antifa,
wolves, and yeah, some of that. But yeah, you want to, if you're archery hunting somewhere where there is deer or elk, you absolutely want to make sure you have a firearm to protect yourself. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you can carry a handgun when you're archery hunting, which is nice. Here in Washington, you can anyway. I don't know if it's cool, but
yeah, the states are a little different.
Yeah, it's funny because you could actually carry a pistol caliber carbine. It's technically a handgun if it has a pistol brace. I could carry that around with me archery hunting. Obviously, I couldn't use it for what I'm hunting for, but I could do it for protection. So
it seems crazy to me to not have a handgun with you when if you're archery hunting.
Oh, it's scary. It's you hear about cougar attacks here in Washington every year, and it's wild. I can't imagine an encounter like that. So
yeah, no kidding. What else is in the Aero? What do you guys have coming down the pipeline?
Well, the biggest thing right now is we're actually moving to a new facility not too far away, but we're moving to Lakewood, Washington, which is just south of where we're at right now. Right now where we're at, it's a kind of an older industrial area, and we're scattered between 6 or 7 different buildings, manufacturing in one space, shipping and receiving in another space, corporate headquarters or headquarters office area in a whole nother space. So we're getting into a 270,000 square foot facility down in Lakewood that's all under one roof.
That's cool.
Completely designing it from scratch, not the building, the structure's there, but we're designing the layout and the flow of the business from scratch. And once we get in there, it's going to allow us to both keep growing as a business, because we're out of space right now from a manufacturing standpoint, no more room for machines. And then also from even a fulfillment standpoint, from a warehousing standpoint, we're just very challenged on having enough space to support what we need as a business. So that's going on throughout the next year. And it's going to be a big challenge for us as a business to get 70 plus CNC machines, up out of the ground on a machine and put back down there to be able to make parts. We're going to try and do it as smart as we can to make sure that we can keep production happening while...
Because if things aren't in stock now, wait till you start moving the machines.
It's not like moving your house where one day you're going to go into the shop and flip the lights off and be like, okay, pack it up. We got to do it very creatively in phases to make sure we can keep parts in stock, keep manufacturing to the best of our ability while we're moving as well. So
that's pretty cool.
But it's exciting. It's hugely exciting for our company to get everyone under one roof to create efficiencies for the business. All of those things equate to better cost, for us as a business, and better savings we can pass on to the end user. So
absolutely,
it's huge.
That's cool, man.
Yeah,
that is way cool.
So you can keep either drive. This is all just a big square. So the further you go out this way, we'll just cut over and then we'll end up back down there. So it's pretty easy to get back from out here. So
cool. Sounds pretty simple. I got to tell you, I like my gig because I get to drive around places I've never been to before.
Yeah.
And I hate saying I drive around aimlessly, but I just try not to get lost.
Well, you go places where you truly would never ever go, right?
People. I have some friends that think that I get lost on purpose, and I don't. And I have had people on the show that we have we meet someplace where neither of us have been.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
then you just hope you make it back.
Right. Like, I hope you're paying attention to directions. No, I thought you were.
Yeah.
We pull out our phones and plug in an address and start following that. So this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. So what do you like to shoot?
What platform?
What platform
anything?
do you like? Do you do competitive shooting?
I don't do competitive shooting.
We're gonna take a left here.
Yeah, you can take a left here and just go over a few blocks, and then I'll tell you when to take another left. But I like going out and training just to make sure that if I ever was in a situation where I needed to use a firearm, I would be comfortable doing so. That's one of the most important things to me. Hunting, shoot a lot of hunting calibers because that's primarily actually where I use firearms. Unfortunately, I don't shoot them nearly as much as I would like to in that scenario because you don't get to shoot too often. But I'm a pretty casual shooter. I love introducing new people to shooting an AR for the first time. I think that's awesome and really takes the stereotype away that unfortunately that they have. It
does. I'm an instructor, and I took someone out last year, and we went to do some handgun shooting, and she wasn't sure if she wanted to get a gun, so we went handgun shooting, and at the range we ran into a couple guys that had some ARs, and so she's like, what are they shooting? I'm like, well, let's go down and ask them.
Yep.
And so we went down, and they give them a chance to brag about their the rifles that they had, and then it always turns into, do you want to try it? And she's like, what do I say? I say, you say yes. When someone asks you if you want to shoot their gun, you say yes.
Yep.
And she loved it. She got video of her shooting an AR for the first time. Called me the next day. She's like, what was that I was shooting? Can you make sure you send me the video? And then she ends up taking a class, and she bought her first gun a month ago, and she's already looking at buying a second one. I'm like, cool, man.
Yeah, it's great.
Good stuff.
And so many people that are anti-gun have never shot a gun.
Never gone shooting.
Or a lot of people who maybe hold ARs at a certain regard because of what they read in the news have never actually shot one, and they don't understand that it's a gun just like any other gun, and
it's not more dangerous or less dangerous.
Yep.
So Derek, that we're borrowing the truck from Kids S.A.F.E Foundation, he does a lot of educational stuff for kids to teach kids how to be safe with firearms.
Yep.
Do you have kids? And if you do, have you introduced them?
I do have kids, and they are 7 years old, 4 years old, and then I've got a 1-year-old daughter. So
spaced apart pretty well.
Yeah, just about right. But they've been introduced to firearms. Anything that I have in the home is first and foremost out of reach, or locked up and out of reach. Right. Same thing in my house. And then otherwise, they've been introduced. I'm not shy about if I have a gun out or I'm working on something. Letting my older son's the one that's generally introduced, 7 years old. He's curious, so make sure he knows what it is, how it works, and make sure that he's comfortable and not scared. I want to make sure my children, if they're ever in a situation where a firearm comes out, they first and foremost know how to be safe. You probably actually want to circle around this block and then go back and take the road back exit on the Pacific Avenue one back there. I forgot to tell you to get over, but that's the one we want to go back to.
I'm like, wait a second, wait, where?
Yeah, so just circle around this, go back across, and then take a right on that.
Cool.
But so I just make sure they're comfortable. I want my kids to not be afraid of firearms in a situation where they come out, to make a smart decision if they're ever in a situation where something weird happens. They're at a friend's house and somehow a firearm gets involved. I just want them to know what is right, what is safe, and what's wrong.
Absolutely. Have you had any of your kids' friends' parents say, "Hey, listen, you know what, Brian? We know there's guns in the house. Forget that guy. We know there's guns in the house. You know, we don't want our kids coming over. We feel unsafe." Anything like that for you?
Not really. I think I'm surrounded by a lot of like-minded people, and honestly, some of the people I work with are my best friends, which is awesome. So they obviously know that I have a safe household. I will say that we've had neighbors that I live next to.
Turn left here, keep going.
You'll have to go right and go around and get back on the road we were just on.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
And then go back across that bridge and take a right onto Pacific, because there's a big gorge in the middle here.
Yeah, it's gonna
but if I'm a pretty self-aware person, I think, and generally speaking, if I think the conversation needs to be brought up, I will let them know. Yes, we do have firearms in the home. Mm-hmm. Yes, they are locked up, and I am very safe in how I keep my house with my firearms. So, it has never been an issue for me, though. I think most people, I'm very open, and I love talking with people that are not as understanding or don't understand guns. I would love to be a resource for them to get a better understanding of it, and I take that very seriously, both professionally and personally. So
that's cool. Have you brought any neighbors into it? I know for me, when I got into gun stuff, I was the first guy in my neighborhood that got into it, and I would pull the whole, "Hey man, let's go out Sunday afternoon. Well, you want to go watch football and drink some beers?" Like, no, I want to go shoot some guns.
Yeah.
Oh my God, my wife will be pissed. Good, don't tell her. Let's go.
Yeah. So not too much actually, but what's actually really cool, and I'm super flattered by, is I have several neighbors who have actually. I don't generally meet someone and be like, "I work in the AR manufacturing."
But I mean, it's going to come up after whatever.
Yeah, it does. And
go to a social.
And you cross that bridge, and you very quickly, especially in Western Washington, it's a very I don't want to get political, but it's a liberal area, so you kind of pick and choose your conversations,
right? Just
so you don't have to have the conversation that's not worth your time.
Sure.
But it generally always comes up, right? And then. I've been very flattered, because a few of my neighbors were actually like, "Hey, you work at Aero Precision? I have one of your ARs, or I have one of your lowers. It's made here in Tacoma. That's awesome."
That's cool.
And that's been a really cool experience, is experiencing that. But yeah, I always try and work with anybody. I gauge their response when I tell them what I do for a living, and then if I find an opportunity to actually help them understand or ask questions or be a resource where you're not going to feel stupid for asking a question you don't know, or you can ask the hard questions about what certain things mean in the firearms industry. I'm happy to help if I can. So
that's cool.
More people need to be like that on both sides of any situation.
Sure.
No one's ever right, no one's always ever wrong. Everyone always needs to have a little bit of understanding, and through education you can learn a lot about firearms. Derek is someone very specifically that he's so great at providing education, and starting with kids who, if you start them off the right way out of the gate with understanding firearms and not being afraid of them, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yep, we'll turn right here, and this will go down that street that goes right in front of the business.
It is important to teach kids. I started with my kids when they were big enough to almost complete a sentence. When they were, they were older than that. They were 5 or 6 years old, and I always did the gun safety talk with them, and the gun safety talk was, particularly for Nerf guns, the gun safety talk was, don't shoot it at your mom, don't shoot it at your sister. Yep. Shoot it at your buddies that are in a gunfight, and let that be that. And then, the older they got, the more we got into, okay, finger off the trigger, safe direction, check to see if it's unloaded. And my kids now, even at 18 and 20, when we head to the range and they come with, we still go through the safety rules, and how do you check this one? How do you look here, you look here, you look here. Okay, cool, good, we're good to go. Yeah. And then I still hang on to the ammunition until we hit the firing line, and then we let them have the gun from there.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember those things from when I was a kid. Yeah. Sitting down and have my dad pull out his hunting rifle and unzip it and say, "We're going to sit down and we're going to talk about this." And at the moment, obviously, I was a kid. I didn't realize, really what was happening. But now I look back at that and I'm like, that was a huge really step in just making sure I was aware, from the get-go. And it's turned into, obviously, a great lifestyle for me now, and I really enjoy it. So.
Right. Yeah, it's super important to teach kids, because I tell folks that the reason that you want to teach your kids to be safe is because in case your kids go to someone else's house and that person didn't teach their kid to be safe, and that's when some accident happens and they end up accidentally shooting your kid.
Right.
And that's going to be a problem.
Yep.
The Puget Sound is really cool.
There it is.
It is. This is a nice shot of Tacoma.
Yeah.
God, I hope there's memory and battery in the dash cam.
Oh, it's still there at least. So.
It's still there.
You
This is
won
good.
one battle.
It only fell off one time. That's all right. That's all right. All right. Listen, how can people find Aero Precision? And you're the marketing guy. Are you on just the I don't want to say the regular stuff.
What does that even mean anymore?
I don't know. As an old guy, I call everything the Facebook, the YouTube,
the TikTok now.
the TikTok.
You're all over the place.
I when I watch TikTok videos, I swear to God, I feel stupider than after I'm done with a 45-second video than I was when I started it.
So you'll go up here. I'll answer that in a second. But if you go up here and take a left at this red light, and then we're going to go up, and there's actually an alleyway you can turn down to go right, and you'll shoot right across the shop. It's that green building there. You just can't turn left up here further.
Okay.
So we're a block away. It's right up there.
All right. So how can people find Aero Precision on all of the social medias?
Yeah, so online our website's aeroprecisionusa.com, and then we're on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and everywhere. All of them kind of have different tags and handles, but if you just look for Aero Precision there, we're the only ones. So
AERO.
AERO Precision.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, listen, let's wrap things up. Thank you for watching Riding Shotgun with Charlie. If you want to buy some Riding Shotgun and Gun Graham stickers or patches, check out ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com. These are for ya. Look at that. Stickers and patches, baby. I make videos playing the trumpet and shooting a gun at the same time. And I don't know if you've ever seen those.
Well, I saw someone playing the drums the other day and shooting a pistol. Was that you, or is you got a copycatter out there?
There is a copycat.
Yeah.
Bastards. Anyway, so check out Riding Shotgun with Charlie. You can buy goodies at the ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com website. You can buy t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs at the Teespring store, which is teespring.com/ridingshotgunwithcharlie. You should join the Second Amendment Foundation. Their website is SAF.org. You need to check out the Self-Defense Radio Network, SDRN.US. That is all of your pro-freedom podcasts in one place. And what else? You can watch the show on Gunstreamer. You can watch the show on YouTube, which you need to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can watch it on the OpsLens app. You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio. And if you enjoy the show, you should share it with someone, because this is how we get the stagecoach across America. We're taking a left here?
Right here.
That's what I said?
Yep.
And then taking a left. That is how we get the stagecoach across America.
Right.
Oops.
Sorry.
The real right. My fault. It is how we get the stagecoach across America. And Brian, I want to thank you for being on the show.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks for visiting us.
We're going to put links to all of the Aero Precision stuff, and we'll see you guys next time.